Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. Today I'm going to talk about one of the best clones that I've tried lately. It comes from the brand of FA Paris, and for those who don't know, this is a sub-brand of a fragrance world, and the fragrance itself is called After Effect. And probably looking at the bottle you can already tell that this is a clone of an Initio fragrance, and in this case it's cloning Initio's Side Effect. As usual, let's first quickly check out the presentation, the box, and the bottle design of After Effects from FA Paris. The fragrance comes packaged in this sort of a dark purple colored box with golden accents. On the front you got the name of the fragrance, the concentration, which is extrait de parfum in this case, the highest possible concentration, the bottle size, which is 80 milliliters, something that I've said before, but I don't really like when companies do that instead of going with a 100 milliliter bottle size. On the top you got an FA Paris logo. On the back you got a sticker of authenticity, again some more branding along with some additional information, and on the bottom there's a production date, which is January of 2024. And in order to get to the bottle you need to slide this inside part of the box out, and once you do that you take out the bottle, and this is how the bottle looks. It has a very similar bottle design to the original fragrance. The cap is plastic, it's not really a very snug fit, so I wouldn't recommend you picking up the bottle through the cap. On the front this is like a metal sticker that's slapped on. The bottle has really nice heft to it, although the packaging, the presentation are actually quite nice. The note breakdown of FA Paris's After Effect that I was able to find, it's not an exact note breakdown, just a bunch of notes listed. There's no top, middle or base notes, but they are the following: fragrance notes: cinnamon bark, rum, tobacco, saffron, sandalwood and hedoine. I'll show you the spray in action, and then I'll tell you about the actual scent of this fragrance, and one interesting fact about the actual sprayer as well. The sprayer, as you can probably tell, is quite weak, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute. And now on to the actual scent of After Effect from FA Paris. Now there's nothing fresh or bright about this fragrance. It's quite dark, spicy and sweet right from the first moments you spray this one. It opens up very sweet with a lot of ambery and vanilla sweetness, a nice strong tobacco note, a hint of, not a hint, but a boozy note. The rum note is there, is in here in the opening, although it's not very strong, and also quite spicy in the opening. I pick up that saffron, that cinnamon, maybe something else spicy, but it's quite a spicy opening with a heavy emphasis on the sweet vanilla and amber notes, and also quite strong tobacco note. Now this is a pretty linear fragrance. It doesn't change that much from the opening to the dry down. What happens in the dry down, in my opinion, is that you start to lose some of the spiciness, the saffron and the cinnamon, although the cinnamon still plays sort of a major role on the dry down, but the saffron completely loses strength compared to the opening on the dry down, and the dry down becomes even sweeter with the the vanilla and the amber sweetness kicking in really hard on the dry down. The tobacco note is quite strong, and the rum is still somewhere in the background. Maybe there's a hint of some woodsy notes as well, but to my nose this fragrance from the opening to the dry down is all about the mix of amber, vanilla, tobacco and some rum and some cinnamon. All in all, it's a very dark, sort of a sweet and sophisticated scent profile. When it comes to how close this fragrance is to the original scent, it's very close, especially in the air. It's almost identical, but up close there are a few minor differences, and those differences are mainly in the opening. At least from what I can pick up between the original and this one, the major difference is that After Effect has a little bit stronger saffron note, quite a bit stronger cinnamon note in the first 5 to 10 minutes, and also has a little bit less emphasis on the boozy rum note. The other difference that I pick up is in the quality of the tobacco note. This feels a little bit harsher compared to the original fragrance, but after the first 5 to 10 minutes, once you go into the mid-dry down, they become almost identical. Next thing that I want to talk about, of course, is the performances, and here is what I was wanting to point out about the sprayer of this fragrance. As I showed you, this sprayer is quite weak. And initially when I got this fragrance and I tried it for the first few times, I was really disappointed by the performance that I was getting out of After Effects. But then I noticed that actually the sprayer is very weak and I have to overspray compared to some other fragrances in order to get the needed performance. For example, if I use 3 or 4 sprays with something else, with After Effects I have to go with 6, 7, 8 sprays just to compensate for this sort of a very weak sprayer. As soon as I found out that I have to pretty much double the amount of sprays with this fragrance, I started to get the needed performance out of this one. And I'm happy to say that with a few more sprays, this really is a good performing fragrance. I've been getting somewhere between 8 and 9, even maybe close to 10 hours of performance out of it, with pretty nice projection in the first 2 hours. So it's behaving really nicely. When it comes to the price tag, I'm going to quote the price that I paid for it. I paid about 32-33 euros. And when it comes to versatility, After Effects is an unisex fragrance that leans a little bit to the masculine side in my opinion. And its dark, sweet, spicy, boozy tobacco scent profile is definitely more orientated towards the colder months of the year. And this is more of a nighttime scent. And on to my final thoughts about French Avenue's After Effects. As I said in the opening of this video, this is one of the best clones that I've tried in the past few months. I've really liked After Effects so far from my testing and my wearings. It has a very nice blend, very nice scent profile, very well blended, no harshness or anything, comes really nicely packaged, has a very good performance. It's an extrait de parfum fragrance that has really nice performance, and the best thing out of all is that it's very close to the original fragrance that it's cloning, Initio's Side Effect. Super close, especially after 5 to 10 minutes. Has a few minor differences compared to the original scent, but I'm okay with that because everything else really is nice about this fragrance. If I have to name a few cons about this one, the first one will be availability. Like all other Fragrance World scents, it's pretty hard to find, especially in Europe. And probably the second major con about this fragrance will be about the bottle size, which is 80 milliliters. I've said this many times before, but I prefer 100 milliliter bottles. And probably my third con will be about the sprayer on my particular bottle. I don't know if that's the case with every other bottle, but the sprayer here is a bit weak. It's quite a bit weak, and you have to overspray to compensate for that. But once you do that, you'll get the needed performance. All in all, I've been really pleasantly surprised and impressed with FA Paris's After Effects. I think this is a great clone of Side Effects, and this fragrance gets a huge like from me. And so guys, in today's video I showed you a great clone of Initio Side Effect that comes from Fragrance World and their sub-brand FA Paris, and it's called After Effects. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in the next one. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.